We are just going to share.
Can't connect to this network. Or not.
Okay, hold on, just have to find my presentation. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So we have, let's look. We have 59 people on Zoom right now. We have a good amount in the room. So here is my disclaimer for people on Zoom. First of all, I'm not going to look at you. That's weird for everybody in the room. So, but I will look forward. The other thing is, there will be a few times, actually multiple times throughout the class, that we will be pulling up commands and walking through a lot of this stuff. So, if I move out of the camera frame, you'll still be able to see the screen and you'll still be able to hear me. So that's kind of the disclaimer on this. We have this amazing brand new office in Cottonwood Heights, Utah, and we're just getting familiar with how all the technology works in the room. So as I was thinking of, if I move closer to the TV, then I thought, well, people aren't going to see me. So just wanted to let all of you know that. Okay, so today we are talking about cracking the code. So I am going to give you a little bit of context as far as what this is.
Hey, Kimber.
There will be, yeah.
For all the Zoomers out there, any of your questions, put them in the chat. If you do unmute, I will mute you.
Oh, so if they do unmute, you will mute them.
I will mute them. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat.
Perfect. Yes, and if there's a moment that we need to have a conversation, or we're gonna have you unmute, then we can do that at a designated time. But that will help us just kind of manage the hybrid experience of having a room of people and also people on Zoom. So thank you, Gordon, for reminding me that. Yes, and any of those questions we won't miss any, right? So if for some reason they don't get answered in the chat or we don't address them, then we will come back and make sure we get all of your questions answered. You have a question?
I can't get on the internet.
Okay, so hold tight. When Blake comes back, I'll have him help you. Okay. Awesome. So this is the how-to guide of running your real estate business with our technology. That's really what Crack the Code is. Let me make sure that this works though. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, I just want to make sure my clicker works. Okay, so quickly, if you have never met me, my name is Kimber. I have been with Keller Williams for 8.5 years. It's been a minute. I am a licensed agent in Salt Lake City, Utah. I am the director of marketing for the KW Home Hub. That services 3 offices within Salt Lake County. Also, I am the regional technology trainer for KW Utah. Our region is also a state. That isn't always the case. Sometimes regions have multiple states, so we're all just contained in one state. Also, I am a labs advisor. So really what a labs advisor is, the reason why I add that on this is for the last few years, I've been actively involved in beta testing each week as Command is being developed, so that it can continue to be the best product for our agents relevant to what they're doing in their business. And releases don't happen without a lot of testing and working through the kinks. And so I add that so that you know I tested a lot, I'm in it a lot, I'm involved in this a lot. And so I am here to be a great resource for you. Okay, so this is the point in which you want to scan this. So I'm going to save some trees today. We didn't print you a 57-page book. This is your code book. So this will should pull up as Google Drive. You should have access, and it should be a PDF. If that is not the case, then we can stop. Okay, so best way to navigate through this class, whether if you're on Zoom, I would say you just scan it on your phone, have it next to you on your phone, and then obviously you have your computer in front of you. If you're in the room, same thing, you've got it on your phone. I will tell you, this is not necessarily what I would consider a workshop environment, as far as we're gonna go around the room and say, did you post your ad, or did you pull that up? And I think it's helpful if you do have your laptop to just follow along as you can. So that's something I say for Zoomers. If you have the training up and that's the prominent part of your screen, maybe you don't have multiple screens, I would just stay on the training, navigate with us on the screen versus going in and doing your own mouse clicks, just for this case. Okay, so at Family Reunion was a couple of months ago, and we talked about, we released a code book. So the KW code book, when they released that, they released a code book and multiple playbooks. One Google Drive had multiple documents in it. The first document, KW code book, said, read this first. So the point of the code book is to lay out how you're going to grow your business as an agent, how you're going to grow and run it. And that wasn't just somebody sat in a corner and went and created that list. KW created that list after they talked to multiple agents from around the country, top producing agents. What do you do to grow your business? What do you do to run your business? They compiled that list. Then they asked the question, can you do that in command? And so the how was the other list. So if you're looking at your playbook, you have a grow list, and just know the trainings, the very specific applications to those things, we are going to have trainings throughout the next few months, because those are very specific, right? There's a playbook about open houses. We're wanting to really deep dive into the playbook of running a highly effective open house in order to get more business. This part is, okay, here's the list of growing and running your business. How do I do that in command? I used to tell agents when I met with them that there's not really a class where we can go through command and teach you everything you need to know in one class. And yet I feel like this structure of the code book, it gets us pretty close, as far as if I have not been in command and I have not been using it, or maybe I have been using it, but not to the highest degree, this class should help teach me some things I know that now I can do. Okay, so here's our objectives. We're going to review the house today. So this is another disclaimer for all of our, I'll just raise my own hand, OCD people that are like, okay, so we just went from 20 to 22, where's 21? Okay. If we don't discuss it, it's either because it does require that 1 hour deep dive into it, or it's not as universally applicable. So we're saving the time to go deeper on some subjects that are. And that being said, you can, at the end, you can ask any questions that you have about it. And then we are hopefully going to simplify the process of all of this in command. I hope that at the end of this class, you think, okay, that is way simple to do. I can now start doing that in this system. Or maybe I'm doing it in another system and paying a lot to do that, and it is pretty similar in command, and that's something that maybe that'd be a costly, right? That'd be another layer.
We don't get it right all the time. Nobody does. Sometimes we fail, but we fail forward. A couple years ago, we started reworking the Command app. We discovered that we had real AI all along. Agent intelligence. You told us what we did wrong, so we could work to make it right. And the only way to truly get it wrong is to give up. But we didn't give up. We hired the best, to make the best. We kept building for you. We broke it down, we beefed it up. We went mobile, baby. And now that it's ready, we're not finished. Let our competitors say pencils down. It's not just about where we are, it's about where we're going. And we'll keep building the platform to go anywhere that you want to go. More time, more education, more contacts, more connections, more insights, more integrations, more on the go, more simple, more success, more results, more referrals, more leads, more listings, more leverage, more wealth, more human, more often, more MREA. We wrote the book on real estate, and now we've built the tech, a bigger and better network, so you could build yours. We transformed the technology from worry to works, from bugs to business, from doubt to double down. This is where she who controls the lead controls the industry. Take control of your database, take control of your leads, take control of your money, take back control and take command. This is now an app with a fiduciary interest, an app that makes your fight personal. This is an intuitive real estate machine that learns, corrects, improves, anticipates, just like entrepreneurs. Built for agents, by agents. This is pure Keller Williams, made not just to keep up with you, but make you faster. Take ground, take command. This is the place, and this is the technology, built for entrepreneurs to thrive. We did more than make it right. We made it us. Onward.
Okay, so that's kind of the intro is what we're chatting about today. So at the beginning of the playbook, or the code book, sorry. Sometimes I'll call it playbook, I mean code book. This was a quote in there. It says, "You challenged us to teach real estate, not technology." That's exactly what the KW code book is. Has anyone ever attended a training at KW? And it could have been taught by me, honestly, so we can just call it out, where you felt like it was so heavy on the tech and really the application of where that applied to you getting more business seemed to be a whole. And then, yeah, right? So that's where we're tying in the MREA into teaching our technology now.
You're teaching technology?
Yeah.
Hey.
So I hope that was sarcastic. And just so everybody knows on Zoom,
We're getting you online.
when people raise their hand and have a question, comment, we definitely want to make sure we give you the mic so that everyone can hear. But we won't give you a mic for sarcastic comments, okay? Okay, so Zoom just had no idea. Yeah. Okay, so here is a quick snapshot of the 201 Club. So you may have heard about this, or you will hear about it in the future. This chart shows an increase, a huge increase, as far as when your database is at least 201 contacts or more, specifically between 201 and 1,000. The average GCI is 119,000, compared to under 200 being 84. 51 to 177,000. And that's if you are consistently following up with them. So what thoughts do you guys have from this slide?
That your business grows to the size of your database?
Okay, yep. Who feels like they are happy with the size of their database? Okay. I would simultaneously ask you the question, are you happy with the touches that are going out to your database, right? I feel like it's hard to answer that question, both, yes, right? Thanks for adding to that. Okay, so Gordon, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, are you able to launch that poll?
Which one do you want?
Let's do the one specifically about, the length of your business. How long you've been in the business.
Okay, I'm launching it now.
Okay, so we're gonna launch a poll just to answer the question, and I'll do hand raises for the room. How long you've been in the business, just so I understand really, if we have more experienced agents under 5 years, really it's so the conversation is around, a lot of us may have not experienced a shift before, right? Okay, so just initially looking at the numbers, 44% have been in the business 4 years or less. 31% have been in 5 to 10, and 27% have been over 11 years. Who has been in the business less than 4 years in the room? Okay, 5 to 10. Okay, anybody over 11 years? Oh, yeah.
1990.
Oh, what? Okay. Okay, so this is good, just so I understand, really, we have a good mix. I just wanted to kind of understand, who we had in the room. Will you launch the next poll? Okay, so we've got a pretty good mix.
Stop sharing.
Majority of us have been in less. Okay, so this is the next question. Are you using KW Command as your primary CRM? A yes or a no? Yes. Who says yes? This isn't like you're gonna have to come like teach the class or anything. Okay, so who is not using Command as their primary CRM? Okay. Great, okay, so similar to the room, 85% of you are using Command as your primary CRM, 15%, 14 or 16% aren't. We had about 5 people in the room say they aren't, so majority are using it as their primary. The reason why I asked is just specifically wanting to know if other people are using different systems. I think as questions come up, I'm open to those questions as far as you being familiar with something that your CRM does and how it can integrate into Command. Those kind of insights are always good to know. So I just like to hold on. Okay, so now we know who is in the room. Okay, so this is a quote from Gary Keller. If you aren't hitting your goal, your database either isn't large enough or you aren't following up with it consistently. So today we're going to be talking about a very prospecting-based, marketing-enhanced way of running your business, which if you've read the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, you know that that's a conversation we have a lot in that book, being prospecting-based, marketing-enhanced. So as we go through some of these slides, we're going to just reference back. Is this a prospecting based thing? Is this a marketing enhanced thing? Okay. Oh, it's like once I click out of it, then it's like, okay. So I do not want anyone to leave this training without having the Command app on their phone. So if you already have the Command app on your phone, then you're good. You can just hold tight. If you don't, I mean, it took me a minute to find that Android. I'm not as great at Android, you guys. Yes?
We move the image so we can get the QR for the iPhone.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. But I found it. I found it for you Android users. Nick's not in the room anymore. He'll be back, but he's always who I think about. He's my my PC coach that is an Android user. Okay. And then I'm gonna close this pull down so you can see that. Okay. So once we have the Command app on our phone, how you're gonna get into Command app is the same way you're gonna get into Command with your username and password. Your KW systems username and password. If you have already put things in command, you'll notice that the command app looks identical to what your database looks like in the desktop. If you went and changed Kimber Walton's name to Kimber Walter and refreshed your app, that name's going to populate, right? So you are always able to update your database on the go, be able to record activities, all of that. So the first and most fundamental thing of a real estate agent's business is prospecting and making phone calls. So, question, how do I do that in command? So this is a picture of the command app. We're going to start with the app. If you pull up a contact card, clicking on the phone number, you will then, it will pop up their phone number to give them a call. So you're going to call your client, talk to them, and then when you hang up the phone, there's a notification, the one in the middle, that says, would you like to add this to their timeline as an activity, right, as a phone call? So then you just click yes. And then that last screen pops up. You can put any notes that you have on that, submit it. I've now recorded the activity. I've recorded the call, and now that's data that I have in the future. When I'm needing to call them again, I know exactly when the last time I called them was. So rather than pulling up their contact card on the go, I'm just going to be pulling up the command app and clicking on their phone number. Easy enough, right? Okay, so on the desktop, clicking on the phone number in the contact card, you'll get a drop down. There's two options. One is calling them. Another is sending the text with Twilio. Twilio is our text service. It's paid, and yet it's about, I pay $3 a month for it. So it's $36 a year, a little bit more because I think it's $3.14. And with that, I have 300 credits every month that I can use to send text messages automated. So that's something that I sign up for because it allows a lot of automation in lead follow-up, contacting my SOI, things like that, mass text for an event. We're going to go through the details of that. But that's what it looks like. Over on the right, I've screenshotted just what it looked like on my desktop or my laptop when I clicked call. So when I clicked call, I was on a Mac. And so it just populated, do you want to make this call with FaceTime? Because that's the call setup that my device had. So I clicked that and my FaceTime opened right up. So I screenshotted that so you could see like what that would look like. But the nice thing is that I could make that call that way. So the frequency that I'm going to be doing that specific thing, probably not as much, right? If I'm prospecting, even if I'm at the office, most likely I'm going to have the command app on my phone in front of me. And yet what's cool about this is when I click call, it populates that little FaceTime box, but it also populates the screen that has me log the activity, right? So command is not letting you get away with not recording your activities, is what I think you'll notice by the end of this. Okay, so sending a single text message or sending a bulk text message. You can select group of contacts and compose a message. We're going to go through a couple of slides and then I'm going to get out of the slideshow and then we're going to walk through some of the things in command. So that's just a screenshot right now. You hear me? No? Gordon, can you still hear me?
Nope, I think you're dead.
I'm dead. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Hey, it like times out. Sorry. I think you're dead. Okay, And then, so we're gonna go through text messages and then we're gonna go through emails. So here is like if I can give you a list of Kimber command hacks. This is one of them. When you download smart plans, we're gonna talk about smart plans in a minute. But if you download the plans, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to use the content in the way that it's in there. I'll give you an example. If I download Kimber Walton's smart plan and she's got like text reminders, emails, there's this whole like follow-up thing, or maybe it's the SOI outreach. Why does this keep going out?
We're a technology company. We're a technology company. Batteries.
I mean,
Okay, so
it's flashing.
you want me to go get somebody? Okay, batteries.
Okay, can you do that?
Yeah.
Even saving me. In the meantime, I call this the Britney Spears mic. I feel like I'm like karaoke. Okay. Improvising. Okay, so back to my hack. So you're gonna download a plan. Maybe you don't want to do that frequency. Maybe you don't want to send emails once a month. But you like the content, right? When you download a smart plan from the smart plan library, if it has emails in it, they will go into your design library. And then you can send the emails as a one-off, meaning one email at a time. So this email that is showing on the slide right now, it says the most important feature when buying a home is location, and it's got a little narrative at the bottom. So that's actually from the last 36 touch plan that I put on the smart plan library. That's just one of the emails. So if you were looking for a cool email to send your database, you could just grab this out of the design library. We're gonna go through that and send that. You don't need to put them on the whole 9 months. Does that make sense? Okay. So I bring that up to show you that we're constantly putting out content. And the good news for anybody that's outside of the state of Utah that's listening to us right now is when you publish things on the Smart Home Library, anybody that has access to command can use it. So we have John Jordan available April 3rd.
Available April 3rd.
36 touch part 7, 8, and 9, which is the next series of that, is going to be on the Smart Plan Library. If you're like, what are you talking about? That is basically a smart plan that has one email a month that you can go and send to your database. It's real estate specific, but it is not, it's not dependent on a market. It's not dependent on a time of year. Anybody can implement it. And I was even thoughtful enough when I put content in there, specifically images, that I didn't put like tons of pictures of palm trees, because honestly, that makes us in Utah sad right now at this point, right? Not a lot of pictures of mountains, right? So it's hopefully it's applicable universally. Okay, so let me jump to the next one. Okay, so we're actually going to jump into command right now, and we're gonna go through the email and the text piece. I'm gonna get out of here and Zoom. I'm actually going to go out of the screen. So just know I'm still here and I'll still be talking. But I need to be able to see the screen a little bit better. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, this is good timing to switch the mic because Britney Spears and navigating the mic is not. Okay, hold on.
She's making a comeback, guys.
Making it come back.
Britney Spears. That's her heart.
You know what is so funny is we're gonna talk about the follow-up in a minute. Bueller. Okay, Britney Spears isn't making a comeback anymore. I'm going back. Eden Wardle for the win. KW success. Okay, so what I thought was funny is, as I was sitting here setting this up, I got a notification on my Apple Watch that it said, Kimber, it's been 3 months since we heard from you. And I was like, crap, like, I got a little bit like, is it like an agent or something? And then it was one of our lead follow-up plans. It's like, hey, it's been 3 months since we heard from you. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of a good text. So you guys we're gonna walk through that. Okay. Where's the mouse? Guys, I promise. Things are gonna work. Oh. Okay. The rest is gonna go smooth, right? Okay. Not now. I mean, I was downloading Chrome this morning, like, we're good. This place is brand new. You know how in your car where like you haven't peeled the plastic off the screen yet? That's where we're at right now, at KW Utah Realtors. Okay, so we are going to go through two of the most simple and basic things in Command, but it's gonna be things that you probably are going to use a lot. So when we're talking about sending a single text message. So I'm gonna go click on Aaron. Aaron is a fake person, totally fake. And we're gonna pull up his contact card. Why is this so weird? You guys don't teach when the plastic's still on the technology, is what I gotta say. Okay, so we're gonna improvise a little because it's like the screen's all weird. Okay, so if I go click on his name, that will pop up, right? I can call or I can send a text. So I'm just gonna go click send text with Twilio, and this box will pop up. So this is just me sending a text to Aaron specifically on my desktop. I can go and send him a message. And I will just tell you, as a tech trainer, I like to speak to what is most applicable, right? Most likely, I am going to be using this in a quick one-off follow-up, and majority of the time, it's going to be in a bulk setting, or I'm going to use Twilio as automation to follow up with leads. The reason being is as I'm sitting here on my desktop typing, right? Most likely autopilot, right? I'm gonna pull out my phone and text the person if I need to follow up with them. All of that, right? Like the normal ways that you normally follow up with people still apply. I'm just showing you this as an example. And then you can put in a picture. This is, and just know stuff like that, it costs a few more credits. So if you wanted to do that, then just don't do a little bit more. And then I can click verify and send. And then over here, over here, it's going to show how much that's going to cost. So it's going to cost me 1 credit. I have a lot of available credits. And then I could go and actually send a text message. And now that's sent to Aaron. So you can see with one contact, it's pretty easy. In a bulk setting, I have 444 people that are in my database. If I just go click select all, or let's say I had customized by filters, then I can go click, where is it? I probably missed. Oh yeah, there we go. Send text message. And now it's going to pull up the bulk. And there's a lot of them, right? Same thing. I'm able to send a message. Can't wait to see you at the client event tonight. I can put in the image if I want and then verify and send. Again, it's gonna tell me how much it's going to cost me once I calculate the cost. As far as the credits are concerned, and then I can verify. This is an awesome tool. Because I don't like to guess, like, if I put this image on and I send it to 400 people, like, what does that even look like as far as the credits are concerned? You can always go click calculate. What questions does everybody have about that?
I got a question.
Yes,
I need a microphone.
oh. Brittany,
I'm Brittany. Just call me.
there is an actual Brittany. And then just if you just want to kind of that.
Yeah, so. Well, okay, so the question I have, when we do mass text like this, do they have an option? Will it automate an option for them to hit stop for text messages?
Yeah, so great question. So we're really passionate about following TCPA requirements. So any communication that you're able to send out marketing wise through KW Command, text messages, emails, all of that has the ability to unsubscribe or stop. So they will receive that message.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's a good guardrail because then you don't accidentally continue to communicate that way with them.
So I had an error message that I sent more than 200 in one day. Is that still applicable?
Yeah, so daily unique recipients. Yeah, let's chat about that a little bit offline, just because I feel like that might be a specific question that we could go into detail more on. Time-wise.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, will you mute that? Do you know how to turn it off? Just in case you like cough or something. Yeah, don't cough. No one give John Jordan. Okay, so we're gonna jump back over to the presentation.
How do you get the presentation online?
We are going to post it. We're gonna actually post this on our KW Utah channel, and then in the notes, you'll have the presentation.
Does that mass text give you read receipts on who actually opened it or? If it's actually. being
We're
received?
gonna talk about reports in a minute. Yeah, so remind me if I don't cover that. And then if it doesn't answer your question.
Wait, here's the microphone. What you say?
Oh, yeah, good question. She just asked about like being able to see the data as far as like somebody being able to see it. And see if they opened it. With text messages, it's gonna show more as how many texts you sent. I don't think it's gonna show necessarily like an open. Yeah. Okay, so this is a hot button. As far as lead capture, and I feel like this is the biggest thing that I'm passionate about debunking. So, mics around the room. How are you specifically, and I'm gonna pull up the Zoom chat too. How are you, and if the answer is I'm not, I have repeat referral business, then don't put anything in. Don't be like, I'm not. How are you generating leads? Like if you are spending money on leads, how are you generating those leads? Anybody in the room?
I was doing FISBOs and expireds.
And anyone in the chat can do it too.
I was doing FISBOs and expireds.
Okay. Okay, but not any spend on any system. Like, please still.
No.
Okay. Look at the chat. Constant Millers, Carrie. Yeah, Millers, great. Cool. Okay, so I would say, I have asked this question to a lot of top producers. I've asked it specifically and directly to each of our ALC members in 3 of our local offices. And, there isn't a lot being spent on lead capture in the sense of all of those other fancy things, right? Unless there is a specific size of their team that can work the leads, right? And that's more, I'm giving that feedback based on the group that I've been talking to. But I bring that up because a lot of times our focus as to, oh, well, how do I even capture leads in Command? I heard you can't even do that. And then we kind of move on. Really, we're breaking down, how are we capturing leads in our business? So I am going to challenge all of you to come from curiosity in the sense that any of your tech trainers that are going to help you would. Asking yourself the question, how am I going to capture leads in my business? How do I want to capture leads? And then asking yourself, how am I going to be doing that in Command? So we're going to break down really at the basic level that lead capture really starts with our METs versus our not METs and categorizing those first. And that's something we talk about in the MREA. So for our METs, which I feel like it sounds like from what was on the chat and what was in here, the heavy focus, people that we have met, that we know, that know us. Ask yourself, do you have a strong follow-up plan? So just like in your heart, ask yourself that question. Is the duration long enough that we're following up with them? Because the answer for if they're in our sphere, what's the correct answer for the duration that's long enough?
Forever.
Forever, right? The Sandlot. And is the messaging strategic, applicable, and relevant based on what category they're in? So I want you to really think about those three questions. Like those are your focusing questions. Because if I am all in on open houses, those are individuals that are walking into homes that want to purchase a home. So is my messaging to them strategic, applicable, and relevant to where I captured them, which was the open house, right? And then strong follow-up plan as far as METs and not METs. So for not METs, I'll give you the example that we're going to go through today in Command, specifically with the SMART plan. Usually, and this is statistics, and I've taught a class about this locally that some of you may have attended. Buyers online, captured online, right? So in that not MET category, from the time that they interact with you first to the time they purchase the house is 18 months. Usually between 6 and 18 months. And I will put myself on the spot. If I run 5 Facebook ads today, the likelihood that my systems on a daily and weekly, monthly basis are going to take me to 18 months is like not even 0, it's probably -5, right? Because it's just 20 leads from this ad, 20 leads from the next. 20 leads from that open house. And unless I have an automated system around that, it's all just leads. And then I'm sitting here in class like, hey, like I need more business. How do I get more business, right? So that's where we've defined now in our head with these 3 questions. We've defined lead capture. So now we're just focusing on how we do that. How do I follow up with people more consistently, more strategically, and in the duration that I need to? Is my system set up that I can follow up with them forever? The answer is yes. Then this is the answer for me. I can do that in Command. Okay, great, cool. I've solved the problem. Now I just need to know how to do it. Any thoughts about that specifically? I didn't want to make it too like airy, but just breaking down the process. Oh. Okay, so we are going to, when we talk about SMART plan, we're gonna pop back over to that lead capture conversation. But I wanted to go as in order as possible. for the campers in the room that are like, if we go from 34 to 9, I'm not gonna be able to handle it. Okay, so we are tracking and logging any interaction that we have. Right, if we want to follow up with people for forever and we want to be consistent about it and we want to know when we need to follow up with them, we need to know when the last time we followed up with them, right? So these are just examples of being able to add the activity, any of those that apply in the command app, just again in the contact card, and then being able to add it in the contact on the desktop. Okay, so saved searches. Is anybody currently using saved searches in command? Okay, there's nobody in this room that is. Anybody on? Okay, I don't initially see anything, so let's just pretend we're all like, wait, what? What's this? So saved searches is similar to something you've probably done on your MLS, which is go in and have people sign up to receive homes that fit the criteria that they're looking for. I only have access to the Wasatch Front Regional MLS, so I know that like the back of my hand. I probably don't know anything about any other MLSs. So I'll just use that MLS as a case example. It's very robust. There's a lot of details, right? You can check the tiniest little boxes of this person only wants to see a house with just what's the weirdest criteria you can think of on MLS. I don't know, but you can certify it,
Pictures.
right? Yeah, I mean, it's just down to
Pictures
the
in the remarks.
detail. Yeah. Saved searches. Here's the value of this. There's not going to be as many of those tiny little criteria. However, depending on where they're at, being able to identify that they're in a specific neighborhood, maybe they're looking for a school zone. They want to be, and we have all dealt with this as realtors. They have to go to fill in the blank high school, right? You'll just be able to search by a criteria like that and the price range, and then add them to that saved search. And as long as they're connected with you on your consumer app and your website, then they're going to be receiving those. So these are two of the benefits that I pointed out. And again, it could be a benefit also on the MLS, but this is what I've noticed for us. This is not limited to the agent's MLS membership. So as our worlds get bigger, right? I mean, we have access to our local MLS, but we can add people to save searches if a client is moving out of state, right? We can add them to that search criteria anywhere. So there's no limitation as far as that's concerned. The other benefit would be, and I'm not saying again that your MLS doesn't have this access, but I have noticed with saved searches, the notifications as far as however you set them, if you say, hey, I want my client, or you ask them, like, how often do you want to see these? If they're like instantly, anytime something gets listed in this criteria, I want to know about it. The notifications that you receive, I mean, I get a notification on my Apple Watch that's just like, hey, there's a new house listed 6:15 in this area, and I can just click on it. The cool thing is you can add yourself to it as an agent, so then you have visibility to what your client's seeing, or if you're like, hey, 20 clients on that, that's a lot of notifications, then you're not going to be receiving that. Question, John Jordan.
Can the clients set up their own saved searches so that they get the notifications? And
They
then
can.
will you get a notification when they get a notification? If they set it up?
No, and the cool thing is, in your settings now, you can manage your notifications as a command as an overview. So that would be like the blanket answer. You can manage your notifications in general. So that would be what I suggest. But yeah, that
Yeah,
would
you
be,
have 20 clients.
yeah, in general, it'd be a little bit overwhelming, but in the same time with the MLS, like I usually would put it on where if we get it daily, I just get it popped up daily too as an email, and that's fine. That to me, that's not overwhelming, especially if I'm really actively looking for a few buyers. So just depends on what your preference is. Those are good questions. Thanks for using the mic. Okay, so I am probably going to show you something right now that you maybe have never seen before. So there is a feature in Command, and it's just in our marketplace. Who has downloaded something from the marketplace? Okay, this room is looking at me weird. Just kidding. No, so the marketplace is just an icon that's in your top right hand corner of Command. And it has basically partners and resources that we've connected, KW Command has connected with, so that you can use those resources within Command. So I'm giving you an example today, not only to show you, hey, here's a powerful tool that's available in the marketplace, but just so you know, the marketplace has really cool things that you can optimize your usage of Command with, okay? So run CMAs. Really, that is not most likely all of us are doing that in like our MLS, cloud CMA, right? Like we know that like the back of our hand. So this is a cool little feature that I found in Marketplace. And it is, you're able to, it's a cost, right? So it's $20 a month, but there's a 14-day free trial. So this is why I picked this one, is because I thought it'd be cool for you as an agent to just look at it and you don't have to pay for it for those 14 days. Just as with anything that we download, remember that you did it. So if you don't want to keep it, then you can go back. So what you're scanning on this QR code right now, this is my NetSheet URL. So what you're seeing as far as the information it's asking you, you don't have to fill that out. And I know you have a great agent, so even if you fill it out to get through the whole thing, I won't like capture you as a lead. But this is something that you can add to your website. You can send this URL, the URL you just scanned of mine, you can send that, you can share it on social media, you can put it in your marketing. This is an example of capturing information so that you can give them the really good stuff, right? Here's the appetizer so that I can have the conversation with you about what your home is worth. Because really all this is asking you is, what do you think your house is worth? Which is good, because then we collect that data. We know up front, like, okay, it's worth $1 million for sure. Then at least we know that that's their feeling. And then they just put in what they owe in a rough estimate, and then it will populate a number based on like, look what the proceeds could potentially be from your house. They can go and make that more sophisticated, like adding in taxes and stuff like that. But that is a piece where you can go, okay, like I've captured that info. There's another layer that if they say, hey, I want more information on my house right now, then it actually comes through the system as a hot lead. So this is one example of something you can plug into your website, whether it's a KW site or not, to capture seller leads. And this is available on the marketplace. And in this room of a lot of people, none of us had gone there before. So NetSheet is the company, like they're not like, hey, if you talk about our training, we'll get, like, this isn't an influencer moment. I just wanted to show you something of value that's there so that you go look for other things of value there. Like, here's a cool little treasure. Another cool feature about NetSheet, where I feel like maybe you're going to get that $20 a month value, right? Like now I have a seller lead resource. You can also create seller and buyer net sheets, and it will link with your title company. If your title company is not yet like participating with them, that you can just say request it. And then your title company's fees would ultimately be populating in there. So it's even more accurate of a net sheet. That's kind of the like quick Reader's Digest version. Any questions about that? Joe Black. Oh wait, microphone, Britney Spears. Greg, can you hand that to Joe? Thanks.
In order, can you hear me?
I think you have to push the button on the bottom. I told John to turn it off.
Yeah.
He said don't hold it down.
It's kind of hidden, it's at the very bottom of it.
Sorry.
In order to get this information out to our SOI, will it let us do a mass email with a link inside for them to see it?
Yeah, so how it currently works is it comes in, the leads come in through NetSheet. But they also, if it's a personal account, it's not optimized for team yet, but if it's a personal account, it will go into your database. And it will be tagged as a NetSheet lead source. So from there, you could filter by NetSheet lead source and mass email or text whoever you want from command. Did
Right.
that answer your question?
To initially get this out, like, hey, want to see what your house is worth?
Yeah.
Is there a way to mass email that sheet out with a link?
Yeah, so that would be something you would create, but that's what's cool is what you scanned, like that would be your experience. You'd be sharing that in an email of, hey, I've got something of value for you, whatever the messaging is. I mean, it could be a really good hook of a subject line. A little bit of, here's what you're about to do, and hey, I'd love to help you. And I would also put that in some type of a social capture as well. If I were you. Yeah, and then it will populate, you can just quickly pull it as a widget. So anybody that's helping you manage your site, and if you do a KW site, you can have any one of our tech trainers help you. It's a widget you can put on your site. So. Okay, let me check the time. Okay, we're good, 7 hours. Okay, so couple of things. We're gonna go back into command. Creating marketing material is where I perk up a little bit. So this again, this is kind of leaning into that marketing enhanced side of the business. So today we're gonna go over a couple of really simple, easy ways to put marketing in front of your database. And simple, right? Remember I told you one of the objectives of this class is simplicity. So there's one feature that we're gonna go through today that's auto create. I think Tim Lowry is on this call, so he'll be like, cool, that's my listing. I just pulled up like the first listing that popped up. So I am able to now through command, I am able to input listing data into designs, and it will create my marketing assets for me, my social posts, my flyers. I may have to tweak the formatting a little bit or select the pictures I like the most, but overall, it's a lot easier to create those quick flyers, those quick social posts, just from putting in listing data. And I would do that if I was covering someone's open house. I can do the same thing. As long as they have their listing and their MLS, I can go and put that in there. And then on the right, we're just going to talk about a really cool thing. Actually came out yesterday. KW decided that they're compiling data. They don't just put out full economical data to KW once a year at Family Reunion or at Mega Camp, right? They are updating those reports monthly. So what they decided to do was make it easy for you all to have a graphic that already has the market data. So for the group that is national, this NAR data is already in designs, and you would just go grab that and put it into anything you want to create. The cool thing is we've created an email, so it's already like you don't even have to create the email. And because this is a KW Utah region training, we create it specifically for the state of Utah. And so if I'm in Utah, that would be what I would link to. And my advice to any agent that's not in the state of Utah is you can take the framework of our market update and go and make that applicable for your local area. My opinion is NAR data is better than nothing, right? Because you're consistently once a month telling your database, here's what's going on in the market, how can I help educate you? Here's what's going on in the market, how can I help educate you? A level up to that would be, here's what's going on in the market, hyper local, I know what's going on in the market. How can I help you?
So can you create that too, like a Sugar House one or a South Valley one?
Yeah, so that would be more like curated, but we do a full state of Utah one. Yeah. It's like a little button on the bottom, you know, Britney Spears mic.
I wonder if you could show us. If you can show us in command
Yeah,
how to access this.
let's do it. Okay,
Can you show us how
did
to-
Blake come back?
No.
We need Blake. I just don't know what's going on with this, it's like formatting, it's not letting me. Okay, we're gonna survive and thrive right now. We're just gonna do the thing. Okay, so I am going to go into design to show you that first auto create example. So I'm gonna go click create design and I am going to click print. And then continue.
Oh, wait, are you back at the hub?
Where do we go?
Just in command, if you click on KW, all the applets will pop down to the left and it's almost the bottom line sign. Do you know how I like zoom out on this Chrome?
Where?
Like on this,
How to zoom out on the Chrome?
because like, I'll just show you an example. I gotta get to this. So if I go to. Well, it's working now that you're standing here. Ew, I hate it. That always happens with me when I help people. Now it happened to me. Hey, thanks. You're the best tech trainer ever. Ha!
No.
Okay, great design. Look at all that good energy you just fixed. Okay, so I am going into design. And normally I would have gone into this coming soon or for sale and gone in and clicked it and edited every little box, right? So I'm gonna go click over here where it says auto create. Okay. So now it's gonna ask to search by a listing. So,
Can you, where is the auto create? I'm sorry.
It's on.
yeah, so are you in designs?
So,
It should be over on the right. It's a red button. Once you go and actually click create design, yeah. Are you there?
You have to click print. So click
oh, print, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go and pull up an MLS listing. I didn't have this prepared. Just gonna click on anything. How's this not even now? Okay, there we are. Okay. So I can either search by the listing address. I'm gonna go select MLS number. That's always easiest for me. Oops. Well, I put too many. It's okay.
Where do we go? No, it's printing.
So I went in and selected MLS number, and then this is the listing I'm looking for. So I'm just gonna go click select, and then down here, I'm gonna click continue. So it populates all of the information. If for some reason I need to tweak something, I can. But then I'm just gonna select my 3 favorite images. The first one will be the primary image, so I'll most likely select like the outside main. And then under these, I'm gonna select maybe some other top pictures that I like. And then I'm gonna go click continue. So if I'm the agent or the agent that's going to be, creating the open house material, then I'm gonna have my info in here. And then I'm just gonna click generate. Yeah, this is Tim Lowry's listing. It's in Heber, so if any of you are looking to buy it or want to buy it or have a buyer. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up an example. This would be a good, let's do this social. Oh, whoops. Sorry, it's hard. Like, I know Zoom can't realize that I'm like bending my neck right now. Okay. Okay, so you'll see for this one, like this is just a story, so it didn't have my picture or anything. But I've got the beds, the baths, I've got when it was built in, the picture populated, the address populated. All I need to do is go switch out my DBA for this one. Obviously, I could customize it to any level that I want. But I just saved a lot of text box time. I might go and add in little thing, I mean, that's to my neck doesn't bend like that, but I would probably go like that, like a comma. So I could tell easily it's 4.7 million. Okay, any questions about that? Overall, you'll probably, now that you know that that's there, you'll be able to use it more. Okay, so we're gonna go back to just really that market update email and talk about that.
Kimber?
Yeah.
I've got a question. I don't know if I need to show you, but when I go to designs and
Okay,
click create design
and print.
and then print and continue, I get, I don't know what it thinks.
Yeah.
Login on the top right.
It says login, keep
On the top
pressing it.
right.
Yeah, there's like a
Also-
little login. No, it's working.
Okay.
Did it?
Yeah, I mean, that would be, so if you just like turn it off, turn it back on, or push enter like 7 times, then that, I'm kidding. That usually fixes like all my problems. Okay, awesome. So I am in command and Kimber just told me about this market update email and I want to send that out. So I am gonna go into Smart Plans. And I'm gonna go click on library. So my Smart Plans shows everything that I've downloaded in the past. Library shows everything that's available. And I say this for every single class that I talk about Smart Plans. So if you attended one of these, you've heard it before. Smart Plan responsibly. We can post anything that we absolutely want to, and anybody, all 190,000 of you can post anything that you want. So Smart Plan responsibly means when you go download something, even if I can tell you, I promise you, I will never put anything out there that you have to edit. Still just like, don't trust me, okay? Because I want you to get used to this process. When you download content from the Smart Plan library, you have a wealth of knowledge. We have a lot of smart agents willing to share their content. And a lot of people will just publish it and they're like, hey, you do the work, you're good. Things like my favorite one is the lead follow-up Facebook plan, where it talks through with the lead, hey, I heard you were looking for homes, like I'd love to help you. Here's the specific criteria of the homes that you're looking for. Parentheses, insert link here, close parentheses. And so if you just go add people to that Smart Plan, guess what you're sending out to your lead? Hey, I found some great homes for you. Here's the houses, insert link here. So just go look at the content you download. Also, you want to know what you're sending and make sure that it reflects you and your brand. So if I am going to search for this Smart Plan, easiest way is the author name because it just brings up the least results. And then fun fact, the most recent is at the bottom. So there you go. So I have just posted at the end of March, for April, the NAR market update and the Utah market update. So we just updated yesterday the NAR to be reflective of the new data that KW put out so that it matches what they're putting out. So I would go and add this if you're doing the national one. If you're doing the Utah one, you're gonna go click that. Add to smart plan or add smart plan, and then all it's gonna do is just download it. Then when you're in the smart plan, right, because you're gonna smart plan responsibly, you're just gonna go click on the name. So I'm gonna show you NAR. I hope Zoom can see like how weird I look. Yeah, I'm not gonna show you that one because apparently, oh, it's probably this. Hold on. Wrong one. Okay. So I am looking at the content that I downloaded from Kimber, just to make sure it's something I want to send. You can go and edit the subject line. And if you want to see what the email looks like, you can go click preview design. So this is again the national one. We did not change one thing about this data. And KW is going to put it out every month. This is a screenshot from NAR. And this narrative is copied from NAR. You'll also notice these things that say, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, call agent mobile phone or visit agent website. Those are merge fields. So in the example of you going in and just blindly adding your database to this, you would be fine because it would populate that. But no, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes people just put in parentheses like fill in your number here. So that's why you want to check. And then your legal footer, a legal footer or a legal header are required for everything you send through your marketing profile or for emails through KW. So I can't see it right now because it doesn't populate in the preview, but I've got my legal footer in there, my DBA, my license number. Every state's a little bit different, but it covers all of that.
Is that automatic that it?
Yeah, so it's automatic in the sense of, she asked if it was automatic. In your settings on your marketing profile, that is where all the data comes from. So if you're not familiar, if you've ever edited that yourself, when we onboard you, we do a really good job about making sure it's all complete. And I always just say, if you've never been in there, go check and make sure it's the title you want, the bio you want, the phone number you want. You can also go and add like your social media channels. Going and editing that now before you go do all this robust marketing is a good idea. So I wanted to show you the actual email. I downloaded that email. Now, how am I going to send it? So if I am in my contacts, there's about 4 ways to add people to smart plans. This is the easiest way, in my opinion. First step is filtering by who you want it to go to if you don't want it to go to everybody. If you're fine if it goes to everybody, then you're just going to click this select all button. It's going to show the size of your database right here. You're going to click add to smart plan. You're going to lean over as far as you can. I mean, Zoom can't see me anyway, so I'm just going to move over. Okay. And then let's say it was the NAR one. I'm going to go click select. And then, whoa, I just did an import from my phone. So this one's bad. So I'll show you. Okay, so this is showing me out of my 444 contacts, 192 don't have an email. I love this feature because now I can just click this export button and now I know what my homework is. What do I need to, whose email do I need to get? I need to get these 192 people. So that's the first thing I would do if you ever get errors like this. The next thing would be, do I want to add it to the plan anyways or remove contact with errors? So in this example, you are sending one email. It's a market update email. It's going out. And so there is no point in keeping them on the plan, right? So you can say add to plan anyways, but nothing's going to happen. in the event of you have a long-term plan, you have texts, you have task reminders, you have emails, and then it gives you that error, and the only thing you don't have is their phone number, then I would add to plan anyways, because they're gonna get the touches of the data I do have. So does that make sense where you would click which button? So in this, I'm just gonna say remove contact with errors. And then the next thing is I have 3 choices to start now, to start on a following date, or to stagger. So if I want to just send all of my market emails on the 1st of the month, then I can go click start on a following date. I'm gonna select, maybe I'm gonna select April 3rd since I want
April 3rd.
to get it on the day that part 7, 6, 8, and 9, no, 7, 8, and 9 come out. And then I would go click confirm, and now 250 people just got my market email.
April 3rd.
Yeah,
If you
Or
hit
it's
stagger,
just-
what does the stagger do? Does it?
yeah, so it would apply in the sense of I am adding 400 people to this, and I want to stagger it based on the fact that there, maybe there's call reminders. And so in 3 months from now, I don't want to be reminded to call 400 people. That's the event that you would stagger it. Or if there was some
Does it
really
have, like-
specific call to action. Yeah, so if like, for example, you're adding people to a quarterly call plan, right? I would put the amount per day based on how many people I'm realistically on the side of my database planning to call a day. That's a good question. But that's why there's those 3 options, and you're gonna apply them in a lot of different ways. Okay, easy enough, right? Okay, so I'm gonna check my time. Okay, so,
Question.
yes.
So you gotta go
Question.
through,
Wait,
you gotta go,
Britney Spears, you need your mic. More like, why did climb Britney Spears? I just feel so like I'm about to sing.
okay, so you've got to go onto the library and download your UEA or NAR smart plan, and then you can do this. Right?
Yeah, so really, the reason why we do that, because sometimes it doesn't make sense, you're like, wait, so I have to go do that every month. You do it every month, but we're not able to put out new data through a smart plan every month, right? So you download it, and now it's on your computer, and you can do whatever you want to it, or it's on your command. So it's just the way that we're able to publish it to the masses, like, hey, here's your market update. So you're gonna go download it and then just send it to everybody. But you saw, I selected all, I said, remove contact with errors, send on the 1st, done. It's truly 4 mouse clicks. And so I put as a, kind of a reminder to myself around the 25th of the month, I'll look and see if the numbers are updated, specifically because I'm doing it locally for our MLS. And they're kind of consistent, but every now and then they'll post it on like the 1st. So I just wait for the data to come out and I send it immediately following.
Kimber, can you do the UAR market, not as an email, but as a post?
Yeah, so good question. So for the NAR one, you're gonna go into designs and just download that as an image. His question was, how am I gonna post on social? So you would download that as an image, and now you can send out your email to your database and then post on social. Hey, my market update email went out today, you know, I'd love to chat with you about what's going on in the market. I'm a big believer about layering with marketing, if not for the messaging benefits, but for the sense of you did something, get the most benefit out of it, right? If I do it once, like, where else can I put this? You know, is what I always think. And then as far as for Utah, we actually post the link to the like Canva template. As far as for you using on social.
in designs?
We don't have, like locally, we don't have access to designs, that's why we post it out that way. But you could always, I've seen agents like screenshot the email.
Or you're saying from the division's email?
From the one that we post. So we'll post the one that's local, we actually post something, the graphic we create through Canva. Because we're not yet able to template anything in KW design.
Who is we and where are you posting it?
Yeah, where do you find it?
We is KW Home Hub. And the Utah region. So we're posting it on what office are you in specifically?
Salt Lake.
Okay, great. We post it on your private Facebook page. So if you are like, what is that? Then we'll make sure that you're on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are good questions. Yeah, because you want to use it in more spots than just sending an email. Okay, so we are going to, for sake of time, I'm gonna have you download this template. And then we're just gonna talk about it. So direct mail and commands. As I'm training people daily, I realize that a lot of people aren't familiar with the fact that you can send out mailing through command. So this is why I wanted to give you all a piece of content. Regardless of where you are in the country, you can implement this, use it, and use it as an example. So what this is it's a Canva template. And there's two pieces to know about this. First is that the size that you just downloaded, the template you just downloaded, is optimized for command. So it is the exact size that you need to import into command. Because that is where, like I'm an agent as well, you lose me. If I get an error message, it's over. I'm like, we'll come back in 2 months, right? So this is the exact size the command will take. So once you download it, after you've edited it, you can go and upload it into command. So next time we jump back into command, I'll show you where this is. This is in the campaign section. And the first question, it's going to ask you, what content are you sharing? You upload a front of a postcard and a back of a postcard, right? Something similar to this. And then the next question is going to be, really, who do you want to send it to? The cool thing is you have two options. You can send it to a specific targeted group that's your database. So I have helped agents where they have a neighborhood. As a new construction agent, they sold 2 or 3 communities. And guess what? It's been 3 years and it's time for them to all know, like, hey, like I can help you. I mean, not that he waited 3 years, but there's an example, right? Where you're going to continue farming that neighborhood. So he has them already in his database. He has them tagged as that neighborhood. So all he has to do is filter by the neighborhood. And he can send out postcards monthly through command to that farm. The second way that we can use direct mailers through command is I can put in any address. And so I'm most likely going to put in a listing I just took or a listing I just sold. And it will, based on how many homes I tell I want it to send to, it will plot the map around that area. And I can change the search, right? So initially, if I said I want to do 200 homes, it's going to pull up the map, and then I can get specific about, I only want to pull homes that were built after 2013. I only want it to send it to single family homes. Or maybe I only want it to send to multifamily, right? Depending on what my marketing strategy is. And then it will pull all of those addresses in. I'm just then going in and sending it. The other cool thing about sending direct mail through command is the cost is pretty comparable and the ease is insane. So it's about 89 cents a postcard for a 6x9 postcard. So it's the bigger than the bigger than the dentist, you have a dentist appointment. I would say the 4x6 is the you have a dentist appointment size. 6x9 is a little bit bigger. And that's mailing it, that's like postage, that's like printing it, that's I didn't have to go print a label and lose it over that process, right? Everything is done in through the system, and within like 7 to 14 days, it tells you exactly, you can send direct over there. So I have shared this content recently, in the sense of, for Utah, we're a non-disclosure state. So our sold data is information that we have exclusive as licensed real estate professionals, right? So us being able to add more knowledge and awareness to the sold data as an agent, like that's a feather in my cap. And that's a strategy that I'm running in this market. Any questions? Okay, so running paid social media ads. So this is one I did not want to skim over, but we're not going to go in detail with it. Mainly because it is truly a 1-hour class as far as running Facebook ads. Your market center tech trainers are very knowledgeable on the whole process of running a Facebook ad. And I will tell you, if you've ever done a Facebook ad outside of Command, you're going to be loving this because it's so much easier than the Facebook interface. And another thing I probably should have said at the beginning, but this code book, it is so on point with walking through every step of how you do this. So we're talking about this in a training sense, so that you remember that we went over certain things and certain strategies that you can implement as an agent. And when it comes down to the time of you opening your laptop and you pulling out your mouse and actually doing it, that code book is truly a choose, create campaign, select social ad, name the campaign. It is a step-by-step thing. So this may feel a tiny bit more general, and just know that code book that you scanned will make sure that you have the link. If you weren't here at the beginning, that is going to be your main resource for all this. Okay, so creating follow-up plans and using follow-up plans. So we're repeating a little bit what we said earlier. It needs to be curated for the lead source. Does it end? And does it need to end? And the duration is key. So if there's takeaway from all of this, as far as these follow-up plans or anything, it's curate it to the lead source, the type of contact it is, and make sure that the duration fits what needs to happen. And we'll open up Command and go through the follow-up plans. Okay, managing daily tasks. Does anyone want to volunteer just as far as how you currently manage your daily tasks? Mine is a Google Calendar. Like if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. And I'm not great at any other task system. Like that's just how I am, even the social butterfly. But are there any other systems that you use to manage tasks? Like how do you know what you need to do today? Or is this like, oh, cool, I'm glad that the system has this because I need to know what I need to say.
Kimber, I have it. I use
Oh,
it.
wait. Oh, are you in the air?
I'm in the air.
Tammy. Is that Tammy?
Yes,
Okay. Sorry, I was like, where are you in the room? Okay.
I'm
Keep
here.
talking.
So I use it. I'm not good at it, to your point. Like I need to be better of hitting it with my calendar, but I do it when I'm doing my calls and I have things I want to follow up on. I put it in there, and then I usually find myself about every other week clearing it out, but I love it because it helps. Like instead of like having a huge to-do list on the things with my database, it just consolidates it. Like I'm a huge sticky note person, so I'd have 50,000 sticky notes. So this is just really nice to not have to have sticky notes and it's just all consolidated. So I know I'm not going to lose what I need to do.
And I'm gonna use Tammy as an example because she started at Keller Williams as a brand new agent, dual career, and stayed in that space for a while, and then, you know, eventually grew a large enough database that she went full time. At the beginning, the Post-it notes they're sustainable, right? Like you can figure it out, and yet if you were operating off the same system on, you know, that after 90 days when you've been at KW versus now, most likely you would be consistently letting business fall through the cracks. Correct?
Yeah. Like you have to have something, because if you don't have something, it just gets too cumbersome.
Yeah.
That's what I really love. I mean, I came from having CRMs in the corporate world. And so for me, like this was a critical step, and CRMs just help you keep organized. That's the thing.
I love that. Thanks for chiming in. Sorry, I just had to identify you were like not in the room.
No.
I
John
use
Jordan.
tags. I
Yes.
use tags, like for buyers and listings. I
Okay.
have a tag for them, so I can pull up those and go through the list to be able to keep on them.
Okay, so that's a way that you're categorizing, I guess, what group they're in. And then a level up to that would be, how are you adding tasks associated with it, right? What do I need to do?
I haven't really added tasks.
Yeah.
I just call them and I put them on smart plans.
Okay, yeah. And there's a lot of tasks that pull in from smart plans. So here is, I always like to speak to, because if somebody is a super big checklist person, believe me, they find the checklist system in command as a new agent, whether they're like experienced or not, they find it. They're like, oh, I've already been into that, right? Because checklist people, they gravitate to the checklist. For the not checklist people, which there's a lot of us agents that fit that role, right? This is my advice to you. Anytime that you're adding a smart plan and it has tasks associated with it, just make sure that that's a system that you want to maintain. Because otherwise, it will become so unmanageable and everything will say past due, and you're going to ignore it. And this task system and the ability to prioritize, is it a high priority? What day am I supposed to do it by? It is extremely powerful. So it's kind of a shame to ignore it. And yet I get it when it gets it too much, like this is just a junk drawer at this point. And the other advice I would give you is, if you're not 100% a checklist person at the beginning, getting things set up as reminders and having it checked off by using the command app is the most sustainable way. And I'm kind of speaking through my lived experience, but if it relies on me opening up my desktop, opening that up and really like checking that off, then it may not happen. And yet if I just made a call to somebody and I go and check off the thing, one of my tasks was sending them a thank you card. I went and wrote my thank you card and then I checked it on my phone. That's sustainable for me. That's doable. So I show you this screenshot to show you that it is extremely simple to do it in the command app, and anything you add and change in there is also viewable on the desktop. And again, step by step, you're able to see each. And now you can sort them by, are they opportunity tasks, meaning transaction-based things, or are they contact tasks, prospecting? Do I need to follow up with somebody? Am I supposed to call them back? They said call them back in 2 months, right? Those are expensive tasks to miss. So want to make this simple for you. Okay, and then this is, again, another fun hour-long class as far as just creating workflows and processes. So really in Command, you have a sales pipeline. You can create all of your checklists within that. And I will speak to, I'm very familiar with about 4 or 5 CRMs, and there's a million out there. But Follow Up Boss is one that comes up a lot. as far as really just being a good checklist manager. And the opportunities checklist is very comparable. So if that is for some reason, sometimes people don't even use that as a CRM, they use it as a supplemental as far as tasks. Command and opportunities can do pretty much the same thing. Okay, so for my OCD friends, 25 to 29, we're skipping over. It's all about your transactions. This is the task that is most commonly leveraged by an agent. So that's why we don't spend a ton of time on it in the class. Also, though, I wanted to just show you there is a marketplace class. There's multiple classes, but in the marketplace, now that you're familiar that that's a treasure trove, you're going to go looking. There is a class about diving into the details of DocuSign. So as an agent, if you want to be more comfortable with like what that looks like, the word buy it doesn't mean that you're paying for it, it's free. But if you go click buy now, sign up for it, it sends you a link and you schedule one of the trainings that they're teaching. There's DocuSign classes, there's classes about managing your pipeline, lots of different things. So I wanted to show you that as an example. So we didn't skip over it. Okay, so we're gonna open up Command again. This is one of my favorite features. It's fairly new to Command, and it reinforces that message that we started at the beginning, which is I need to be a real estate agent in this system. Can I do that? Or do I need a different system? That's a question that I wanted you to come with. I'm hoping we're going to answer it. But one of the biggest pieces is being able to log what you're doing as a team. So as a team, there's maybe a husband and wife. Great, good example. Maybe there's one agent that has an admin. Great. Maybe there's two agents and an admin. And let's say you're that agent that you're like, nope, it's like I'm just on my own, got my own thing going. Most likely, you are having conversations with either a coach or somebody in a peer relationship that's holding you accountable. And I think if you're like, nope, totally on my own, then I would just push you to say, not even that you have to sign up for a coach or anything like that. It's just having somebody that is an accountability partner is a powerful, strong tool. And if you don't know your activities, then it's really hard to be held accountable for that, right? At the end of the week, how many conversations did you have? How many appointments did you have? How many buyers did you set? Like some weeks it might be easy to pull off the top of your head, but long term, it's like that feeling of I've been doing a lot. I've been busy being busy, but I don't really know what that translates to. You can't track what that am I making progress? Do I need to look at like my lead gen? Do I need to be doing this more? How much did I even lead gen last month? If I'm sitting there with an empty pipeline and I can look at that I didn't do any lead gen, then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But if I'm like, I don't even know what I did. So there is a lead gen tracking. You can track all of your activities in Command. This is important, however. If you went into reports right now, we're going to open up Command. You would not see the activity section. And then you would go, okay, great. Like Kimber's pulling up the screen, but I can't see it. The first step, it almost like unlocks this step for you, is going into your settings and under reporting and activity tracking, setting this up. So the first thing that we're going to do in settings is we're going to identify what time we want a daily reminder to log our tasks or log our activities. I need a reminder or I don't. What are my work days? And then right below, the screenshot doesn't cover it. There's the last step is what days do I have off? Because again, if it's messy and you're constantly getting like reminders on Sundays, then it's a system you start to ignore again, right? So you're truly setting up, this is when I am working. Treating it like your 9 to 5, right? Then when you save this in the activity tracking settings, then you'll have access to activity. So we're gonna jump back over to commands. And then once we go through this, if you guys have any questions, let me know. So under activity, this is what it will look like. So I can go in and submit the activity for any of the current week or anything current. I just can't do it in the future, right? So today is Wednesday, so I'm gonna go click submit activity. However, I said on those settings that I wanted to receive that email at 9 a.m. or I'm sorry, at 12 p.m. So every day in my inbox, I get an email that says, hey, like, let's record our activities, and I can go click the button in my email and it will take me to activities. So just know there's a system around reminding you like, hey, tell me what you did for lead gen. So I always have it remind me after when I'm planning on lead generating. But I just came in here, clicked on the thing, and it just says first, okay, it's today. Did you have a good day or a bad day? So we can put like, we're happy or we're sad. I don't know why I even used that up. Okay, how much time did you spend finding new clients? 15 minutes. I wasn't doing so great today. How many did you talk to? 2. What did you do to find them? I went door knocking for 15 minutes and then it started snowing. And I'm not Jake Chandler, so I can't stay outside very long. Is everyone you spoke with captured in the database? Let me say yes or no. How many new appointments did you set? Buyer or seller? How many contacts did you write? You know, you get the point. I'm just gonna throw in some numbers. And then I'm gonna click submit. Based on today's activity, over the next 2 to 3 months, we estimate $6.87 in GCI. I should probably make more phone calls than talk to one person. Okay. Question.
Yeah, can you just review the tab, like on the left-hand side? It's just, I missed that.
Yeah, no, thank you for asking.
Repeat that.
Okay, so we're just gonna go through where you see that. So I want to show you really quick in settings. If you go click on your name and settings. And under command settings and reporting. Activity tracking is right here. So if you have never touched this, this is your first step. Coming in here, setting your reminders, setting your work days, setting your days off. And making sure that is set. And once that is set, if you go over to reports, you can click the KW if you forget which one's which.
Can you hold on a second? Where, I mean, under command settings. You said activity tracking is not.
Yeah, so
Command.
it's saying contacts, the contact.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay, got it.
So you're gonna do that first. Once you do that, when you come into reports, activity will show. If you come into reports first and you've never gone into that in settings, activity won't be here. And you'll say my command's broken. So settings first, set that up, then the activity will show. Question.
So is there like a bird's eye view that you could look at from like month to month or
Mhm.
like month over month?
Yeah, so this shows a week, this will show a day, and then, and look, I can just overall see if I had smiley faces or frowny faces. And then over a month. And then I love this, I can see if it goes up or if it goes down. Am I trending up 15 minutes? This month I've spent 15 minutes on lead gen. Room for improvement. So that's a little hidden gem. It's newer. That's why I feel like it's kind of a hidden gem. But that is a crucial piece of agents' business, is reporting your activities and being able to translate what those activities or what those activities translate to is what I should say. And that can fully be done in command. Another question.
So if you were to take like a day off in the week that you hadn't originally planned, is there like a way to? Or do you always just go back in and say that was my day off?
You would just like skip it. It's more just so like, you're not gonna be getting that email on a Saturday and Sunday where now I'm just gonna have to delete extra emails. So for me, I'll just tell you, cause like Monday, you know how you get back to your inbox on Monday and it's a little bit heavier than it is the rest of the days. I have 2 emails specifically always from Keller Williams because I don't have my days off selected yet. So I could avoid 2 extra emails that I'm not gonna go report activities. So that's, it would just, it's not gonna be material if you're missing a day. It's more just so, yeah, you don't have like a system around it, extra emails. Yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so we have about 15 more minutes. I think we're doing good. And I want to leave time for questions. So this, on our presentation, this just summarizes again those step-by-steps, like reporting all of your days off, how you're gonna report that. You can also do that as a team as well.
You know, there's a misconception out there. The command.
David, stop talking for a second.
Kimber,
Yeah.
does that, put that stuff into a 411 and all that?
That's a good question. So let's get through the other 2 slides and then we'll kind of pull up reports. Because your activities will translate to your overall goals. And locally, in a few of our offices, when we talked about really setting your goals for the year for the vision planning clinic, we talked about setting your goals in command. So these would be the activities that translate to that. So that's a good question. We'll pull that up. Okay, I just want to show this quick video.
You know, there's a misconception out there. The command isn't designed for teams. That's old news. At KW Labs, part of our job is to help create the tools teams tell us they need. And over the last year, KW has invested millions of dollars in command, including tools that help teams work smarter by streamlining their operations. And at the heart of all this innovation are Gary's proven laws of lead generation. Build a database, feed it daily, communicate with it systematically, and service the leads that come in. If you're not already using command, you probably don't even want to think about switching tech platforms. And as a team owner, I get it. You're worried about disruptions to your workflow, the challenge of getting used to new tech, and all the time and money you've already spent on the tools you have. But right now is actually the best time to reevaluate your systems. You want to make sure they're optimized to support your team in a shifting market. Right now in command, you can import your database, set up lead routing, generate leads at a fraction of the usual cost, nurture your leads, and track your transactions through every stage of the process. It's a powerful all-in-one platform. Many of our top teams have made command the center of their workflow. So when you make the switch to command, you'll be in good company. Plus, you'll have the benefit of our training team to help ease the transition. That misconception, cute. Not only is command built for teams, it's the only platform that comes with its own user manual, the MREA, the book that built teams.
Okay. So that video, based on what you've learned today, like what are your thoughts? And maybe, I'm not 100%, I actually am not sure at all who's on Zoom. So as far as like being able to point out people that are in teams. After looking at that video, absorbing the stuff that we've talked about, things that you do as a team, would you agree with that video as far as command being capable for teams to run? Any thoughts, questions around that? What ahas do you have for the day? Zoom will like put you on hold for a second. We're gonna do ahas in the room and then I want to get a few from Zoom.
So I had a question that, I feel like there's a lot of systems in here that is, that like completely is applicable and we could take over.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything on like neighborhood snapshots, market reports, like listing alerts, things like that. Is it capable of things like that?
Yeah, so we have, in the contact card, we can pull that up. I think we'll have a little bit of time, our neighborhood nurture. So that would be, where you're identifying the contact as specific to, an area, and you can add multiple neighborhoods of interest. And you can have them getting a bi-weekly or a monthly, update on that. And they barely just, updated, I guess, like the overall aesthetic of those. So it's really cool. And then you're able to see, the view of it as well. And what was your second question? Oh, listing alerts. As far as like the,
I think we did talk about like
Yeah.
higher listing alerts, things like that. And then does it communicate with you directly on what they're looking at? Like, if
Yeah.
it's pulled up.
yeah, that's a great question, actually. So, in the, in your notifications, so your notifications on your desktop are exactly the same as your notifications on your phone. So, as you would expect, when somebody logs into your website, for example, that would notify you. And the reason why that's great is you're just notified like they're actively in the experience. And that's always the number one thing, like I will show a new agent that comes to KW because they may just be having their clients like sending them Zillow screenshots, Redfin screenshots, whatever, right? And we're able to get the information from our client of what they're looking at. And yet we have no visibility of how often they're on those platforms, what they're using. And then also all those platforms have strategic ways to capture our clients, right, from those websites. And so anytime that you receive stuff like that from your clients, directing them to your consumer experience, and they're able to search for homes in the same way, then now you have a little bit more of that visibility of how often they're using it. And then also they have capability, right? Because when we sell something, we want to always be able to tell the person like what's in it for me or what's in it for them. So what's in it for them is they're able to quickly save things, favorite things, create collections. And I always just tell the client, then I have quicker visibility to what you're looking at and we can schedule a home to go see, right? So there's the what's in it for them, and then now you kind of know what the what's in it for you. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a mic?
No.
Pretty speak.
Okay, so do you have to download the new neighborhood nurture smart plan for these new features that you just mentioned?
No, so if you have them on the neighborhood nurture already, it's just the email got a aesthetic upgrade. So if they're already on it and getting it, they'll just be getting it different.
And then can you put the QR code up for this manual that you went over today? The aha was that it was a great overview. I need to go back in and print the thing out, and start implementing.
Great, yes, and I will tell you again, like you've probably seen the step-by-step. This step-by-step it's probably the best that I've seen as far as with KW, where I went through it with one thing I wasn't familiar with. And the step-by-step is very true to what is in command. So good ahas. Zoom, do you have any ahas? Or questions?
I have a question.
Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just gonna say, because it is step by step, and you said it's pretty close to command, but of course, command's always changing and growing and improving. What is the plan to keep the code book up to date, and where can we get those up to date issues of it?
Yeah, so as there's updates, because this is a system now that we're plugging with our agents and talking to our agents about, I don't know the answer, and I could picture that just being almost like renditions of it, right? So if we have like a playbook about online leads, right? And there's a big update about maybe how we're doing consumer sites, I would just picture that almost being like an extension of it. But yeah, this shouldn't be out of date anytime soon.
Yeah,
There was a
Kimber, my
lot of effort and resources that went into it.
Yeah, Kimber, my understanding is that they're going to be updating on Connect.
Cool,
That makes
So
sense.
At least that's what I've been told.
great.
Amber, I was just gonna say the same thing. Donnie will also be putting a monthly video in the KW Command YouTube channel of all the new things that we'll release. And yes, Inside Connect, the code book and the playbooks will all be updated as it grows.
Amazing.
Thanks,
Thank
Sarah.
you. Tammy, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just gonna say my aha was I like the tracking your daily activities.
Yeah,
'Cause I've created my own sheets and I like that there's something there that will actually create a whole report around it, that I don't have to create a report because I haven't done that yet. So I really liked that.
oh, good. The more that we can get all that we're doing in one platform is powerful. It makes our business more powerful. It ultimately makes us more money. And that's why KW has put so much resources into this code book, ultimately the playbooks, and how we're helping you run that play is because we believe that system is command. So, yeah. Any other ahas?
Kimber, this is Monica. I've been using Command. I'm getting better at Command, but today felt like drinking through a fire hose. Of all of the features that I'm not currently using in Command, I didn't
Yeah.
realize there were so many. Are you going to go back to the things that you said, well, this is a 1 hour class, this is a 1 hour class? When are we going to be able to sign up for those 1 hour classes that are going to get us through some of these missing pieces?
Yeah, so example, me saying, oh, that Facebook class is a 1 hour class, right? If I'm gonna
Right.
teach a class and walk somebody through how to do Facebook ads and optimize that at the highest level, then I'm gonna allow for an hour, right? That being said, really the step-by-step, the code book is truly resourceful, almost to the sense that we may not need that class. I think that the code book existing now our classes can be more focused on the strategy, the frequency, that how often, like what conversations we should be having with our database. The code book is just so that the how doesn't necessarily need to be a class, and yet we all have market center tech trainers, regional tech trainers that can help and assist us with that. So I would say, for example, if I'm specifically wanting to send direct mail through Command and I've never done it before, my first step is going through the code book step by step and me executing on that. And then when I need, assistance and help, then I have my market center tech trainer, my regional tech trainer to help with that. And then we'll be keeping the conversation going specifically on things that our agents locally are going to need and what training you guys are going to need more help with. So I would start with the code book because it is such a powerful resource. It almost felt like drinking from a fire hose teaching it. So I agree, Monica. I wanted to give you as much of an overview as possible with these areas so that you feel excited and want to dig into it more on the step-by-step.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so this is just a QR code to connect with me if you want to save my contact info. You need to get a hold of me. I haven't looked at the list of who's attending. If there's any tech trainers that are on specifically, I'm happy to share my slideshow with you as well. So you don't start from scratch, right? This is what we do at KW, just share our resources and knowledge, and we all succeed together. So, thanks everybody for coming today. And we'll see you all in the next round.
Thanks, Kimber.
Bye. Bye, Zoom.